Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. We're back at it again. So you guys know there was some conversation around the NBA, especially about, I'll say about a year or two ago, probably a year ago. Maybe it was last season, if my memory serves me right, where there was this big conversation about how certain players and fans were talking about modern day players. In specific, they were talking about people like Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and some fans, right? Oh, they're too critical of these guys. Oh, they're too negative. You had people like LeBron James saying something about it. I think, what's his name? JJ Redick had complained in the media a few times about it, right? And this and this and this. So they were all upset and this and this and this. And some fans were like, no, man, like, what y'all want? Like, if y'all going to be putting out, like, you expect, like, you don't expect people to have an opinion on what they're watching. And they were like, oh, well, you know, you didn't do this for the older generations. You didn't criticize the game. Now you're, listen. If you're doing something for one way and you build a customer base doing that thing one way, if you decide to change the way you do the thing, the product, whatever, don't be surprised that people talk about that. At one point, there seemed to be more balance in the game. Teams played offense and defense. It wasn't a three-point shooting contest every single night. Players were available more often, right? You could bank on seeing a player on any given night, your favorite player. Today, it's not the case. So you can't build a certain game and then amass all of these fans that, you know, followed that game. And then all of a sudden you start changing it and expect people to be like, oh yeah, this is great too. No, people are going to have an opinion on things. That's just if you decide to make a shift in your product, expect there to be some kind of reaction to it. And that's what you were getting. And it's not written down anywhere where it says, no matter what type of product you put out, you're supposed to say nice things about it. No. Do you know why? Because in the case of a Charles Barkley or Shaq and these guys, they're getting paid to give their opinion on the sport. They're not getting paid to protect players and the sport. Because then they'll be shortchanging their fans, the viewers rather. Because whenever a topic is brought up, instead of you giving me your honest take, you're up there angling and covering for the league. Then I don't need to hear from you. You're just a spokesperson. I don't need to hear what you think because I know it's not what you really believe. These guys can't grasp this concept. But some people felt like the criticism of Charles and all of these guys was going too far. So what happened? Recently, Charles Barkley had complained about the light schedule that Inside the NBA had with ESPN to begin the year, right? And then after that, Colin Cowherd and Jason McIntyre basically said that the NBA removed them, or ESPN, one of the two, removed them off of certain nights or whatever because they were too critical of the players. So for those of you who didn't hear Colin's comments, I want to play what Colin Cowherd had to say here now, and then I'm going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to Colin Cowherd here.
You were always very critical of Barkley. Did you see he's complaining he's not getting on the air anymore? ESPN buried that show.
Why am I critical of Barkley? He was critical of the league.
Yeah.
But what did Barkley say? I don't think I saw it.
He doesn't. He wishes he worked more. And my feeling is, this is just conjecture, is that ESPN has a great relationship with the NBA, and they said, yeah, we'll bring that show over. You won't see it as much. Put it on the shelf a little bit.
Huh?
I mean, because
Adam during
Silver,
football season, nobody's nobody's caring. But NBA from February, March, April, May, June, I'm sure he'll be on a lot, right? I haven't seen a second of it this season. I watch the games. I don't,
No. I did. It felt very, very big at one time, and now it's invisible. So I don't know. I'm just saying conjecture, but I know there were people upstairs in the NBA office that didn't like how they lampoon the league and some of the players.
You were talking to Adam Silver there?
I would say people upstairs didn't love sometimes. They would say NFL shows don't make fun of the players. Why are we making fun of the players? I heard that before from somebody of.
That might have started here. I don't know. I'm an originator. What can we do?
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just Charles is complaining. It's like it feels obvious to me that, you have these new deals and there's a lot of understandings that don't have to be contractual. David Stern didn't like when people were critical of the NBA either. That they're very sensitive in the NBA. Remember Adam Silver saying my players are miserable, Twitter. It feels like it's a thing. But, you're right. In February, they could be.
Fantastic. So you heard what Colin had to say. Well, I believe it was a day before yesterday, Inside the NBA was on, and they were covering, I think, the Lakers-Mavs game, and I forgot the other game. And Charles Barkley decided to make a beeline directly to Colin Cowherd and rip his ass to shreds, man. So what we want to do is we want to play what Charles Barkley had to say in response to the comments from Colin Cowherd. And I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
2 months. There was no reason for us to be off for 2 months.
Why not?
And then you got fools on television.
It was Christmas, man.
Christmas,
I'm happy. Listen, it's a month.
First of all, Christmas.
Why was there no reason for us to be off?
Christmas is the worst holiday in the history of civilization. All you do is waste money. Hate Christmas. You know that.
What does that have to do with us working Christmas Day 5 days?
Oh, we work Christmas Day.
I know. So you said it's been 2 months since we were on.
Yeah, but we only work once in 2 months.
It's been a month.
And let me tell you something.
14 hours in one day. And I feel overworked.
Can I look at this camera right here?
Yes.
Okay, there's some fools at home or on the internet. They're at home now saying that we were talking bad about the players, so they made us work less. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. This was already scheduled.
Nice catch, by the way.
Because you know what, I really
know. Do you realize how scheduled
come on, man. These guys are like, well, these guys, they don't put them on the shelf because they don't want them on TV. Man, y'all need to shut the hell up. This was already planned months and months ago. All I said was I would have liked to work more.
But we're going to be so heavy on the back end.
I know.
We work 3 days next week.
I know.
Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. Then we go home. All of the playoffs, all of the finals.
The only point I made.
It's heavy back end.
I know. And we could have.
When the games really mean something.
Well, they all mean something.
No, they don't.
Yeah, but they really mean something.
You don't think the cup mean anything?
You gonna watch the Sacramento New Orleans game?
Not if y'all paid me.
Okay, then it don't mean anything.
Not if y'all paid me. I'm not watching Sacramento.
Excellent. So you heard what Charles had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Charles Barkley is a big deal, right? You just don't move him off the air like that. Charles Barkley, I believe, has a $200 million contract with ESPN. He's a big deal. You don't just it doesn't really work like that. Charles is a big boy. He's the highest paid guy that talks basketball. And he doesn't even work as much as these other guys. He's at the top of the game. You don't just remove him off the air because some executives or some players got their feelings hurt. No. The fact of the matter is this. If you're an NBA fan that has been following the NBA for the last 20 years, Inside the NBA is an integral part of the season every single year. We all look forward to it. Because there's going to be the funniest show. They're going to have the most heated debates. Inside the NBA is literally part of the NBA schedule. It's part of the product, right? So to say that some players got their feelings hurt, let's remove them off the air, that makes no bloody sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Those guys are not going to divvy up money to Charles and Shaq and all of these guys and then take a loss because some of these guys got their feelings hurt. That's insanity, right? That's insanity. But this is people's emotions talking. This is people's emotions talking. And Charles, I'm glad that he stood up and said something about it. The big story last week was the news surrounding LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, the comments that came out about what Jeannie Buss felt about LeBron with his time with the Lakers, right? We pretty much know everything that's been said. Everyone at this point has kind of weighed in on it. But one person that weighed in on it multiple times was Stephen A. Smith, right? He spoke about it on ESPN First Take, but then decided to discuss it on his show, the Stephen A. Smith show, I think, Straight Shooter, right? So this morning I was just doing some research, and I actually hadn't paid much attention to that clip, but they were saying that, from the articles that I found this morning, they were essentially saying that Stephen A. Smith is essentially telling LeBron James to leave the Lakers and go back to Cleveland. he's essentially telling them that. But when I initially saw the video, the title of the video was called Jeannie Buss Responds to Report About Her Relationship with LeBron James. So I didn't really watch the full video, but apparently that's what he says. Stephen A. Smith is here saying, man, I think it's time for you to pack up and leave LA and go back to Cleveland from once you can. So what we want to do is I want to play what he had to say. Very short clip. I want you guys to listen to it, listen to his reasoning. And we're going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith's comments here.
You ran in to a juggernaut, best player in the world at the time. This is the truth. So let's just be clear about that and be decent with it. A lot of stuff. Yeah, there should have been some gratitude maybe that was shown because the Lakers drafted Bronny James. Sure, you can nitpick about that stuff like that, but LeBron kind of deserved it from his years of service covering the NBA. No doubt about that. So let's be fair to the brother. Be fair and give credit where credit is due. Now, me personally, I think LeBron James made a mistake staying in LA this year. I think that the brother should have gone back to Cleveland. I think if this is his swan song, you want to compete for a championship. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine LeBron James in Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. They're coming out of the East. They're coming out of the East. You'd have to give up something for him. I get that part. But if you could hold on to Mobley, if you could hold on to Donovan Mitchell, which you would, and you put LeBron James with those two, you're coming out of the East. In my opinion, you're coming out of the East. This ain't Oklahoma City. This ain't Denver. It ain't Wembanyama and San Antonio standing in your way. It ain't an Ant-Man standing in your way. No, you're coming out of the East. That's what I think he should have done. But that's just me.
Excellent. So you heard what he said. What are my thoughts about this? Look, this summer, I was one of the people that was saying that, to me, there were few perfect scenarios for LeBron after we found out that the Lakers were not going to extend him. The first one would have been to announce that he's retiring this year. Get the full send-off from the Los Angeles Lakers. You get to retire with the Lakers, and you call it a career. I said that if he was not willing to take that decision or opt with that option, to go with that option, the other one should have been he found a way to Cleveland. Now, some people say, but how could he get to Cleveland? Cleveland is already under the second apron. LeBron is earning $50 million a year, $52.6 million. So how the hell is Cleveland going to be able to acquire this guy? So obviously they couldn't acquire. They cannot acquire him in a trade because I don't see any way that Cleveland would trade away their assets, their younger talent, to send to the Lakers for an older player. I don't see why they would do that. But one of the ways LeBron could have made it happen was to ask for a buyout and go to Cleveland. And that would have worked perfectly. Now, why does Cleveland work? Well, because that's where he is. That's where he's from, rather, number one. Number two, his career-defining championship was won in Cleveland. That was his career-defining ring. Every player has theirs. Kawhi's, it was the one in 2019. Obviously, Dirk only has one. So the one that he won, that was huge. Giannis, obviously, the one that he won. Kobe was the one in 2010. That one was very, very huge. Everyone has their moment, like the one that really... And I feel like if LeBron had opted to go back to Cleveland, it would have been a storybook ending. Because number one, the fan base would have loved to have him back. Right? That's where the guy's from, for goodness sake. So they would love to have him back. Number one, they would treat you like a king, like a real one, right? Because in LA, it's a different thing, man. LA is a Kobe town, right? And they're not going to give you that red carpet treatment the way that they would give Kobe Bryant. It's just not going to happen. That's like Kobe Bryant going to Golden State expecting the Stephen Curry treatment, even though Kobe's a massive star. That wouldn't happen. There's certain players that have that fan bases feel sentimental about at particular locations. Same thing with Dwayne Wade in Miami, right? Same thing with Patrick Ewing. And I'll even say to a certain extent, Jalen Brunson with the Knicks. Like, it's just a certain thing. And I felt like he would have gotten that had he gone back to Cleveland. But instead, he decided to play one more year with the Lakers. I don't see the Lakers winning the championship this year. So it's just another year, right? It's just another year to compile stats that don't really mean much. The stats that LeBron is compiling this year have is about the same amount of significance as the stats that he was able to amass last year, right? So there's no real significant thing taking place here. But if he had gone back to Cleveland, it would have been a perfect scenario. So I agree with Stephen A. Smith. He does need to go back to Cleveland because clearly he is not getting the appreciation that I think many people feel he should in LA. The Lakers feel differently about him because they don't view him as one of their own. Although he's been with the team for, is it 7-8 years? He said this is the longest he's ever been with an organization. That's also telling because you play for 23 years. So it means you've kind of been all over the NBA. But I think that's the best move for him right now. Go back to Cleveland, announce your retirement, and call it a year. I mean, and call it a career. That would be a perfect scenario. Go back home, retire. They will love you. They'll give you the good send off, and that'll be it. But to try to stay one more year with the Lakers, and bro, that's not gonna. Come on, man. That's just not it. Austin Reaves had been in the headlines for the last 2-3 weeks now, especially because of some comments that LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, had made over the last few weeks, right? That really created a stir to the point where Austin Reaves' agent had to confront Rich Paul during a game, halftime of a game, for the things that he was saying on his podcast, right? Now, when we were saying it, we were like, oh, man, these are LeBron haters. I'm like, no. If you look at this from a human perspective, anyone watching this, knowing that this guy is in a contract here, talking about him being traded, like, who does this, right? So obviously what we thought, and a lot of us here in the content creation space, we were right. It's what other normal people thought, hence the reason you had that little clash there, right? So we had that. But in the midst of that, Austin Reaves has been injured, right? Now, I've been one of the people that said, look, man, if I'm Austin, man, I'll just stay out as long as I can. What's the reason for that? Because ever since LeBron's return, Austin Reaves' numbers have taken a hit. He was averaging around 28 points per game. If I look at his statistics now, he's averaging 26.6 points, 5.2 rebounds, 6.3 assists on 50% shooting from the field, 87% free throw shooting with 1 steals per game. Prior to that, he was playing very, very well with a box plus minus of 2.9 on the season. So he was very, very good. And at one point, he had a 55-point game early this season without Luka and LeBron. So Austin Reaves was looking fantastic. And he plays better. Him and Luka as a duo is more successful as LeBron James and Luka Doncic as a duo. This is a fact. The numbers bear it out, right? So you have that there. So anyway, so I was going through the internet here, and then Mitch sent me over some news as it pertains to Austin Reaves, and it looks like we have a major update here. And the head of this article is from Yahoo Sports, and it says, when is Austin Reaves coming back? JJ Redick drops update on Lakers stars injury return. All right, let's get into the article. The Los Angeles Lakers are stuck searching for consistency after a hot start to the year. The team has stalled at 6-6 in January and waiting for any stabilizing presence. Austin Reaves, who left the team due to an injury at the end of December, is precisely the kind of piece the team needs. And now an update on his status has been announced. According to Lakers insider Dan Wojcicki, head coach JJ Redick told reporters before tonight's game against the Dallas Mavericks that Reaves is close to return. However, the team is still taking things slowly and being cautious, especially since he's recovering from a much-feared calf strain. Redick also confirmed that Reaves had participated in a stay-ready game, but the Lakers are looking to put him through a bit more exposure to full-contact basketball before putting him back on the floor. The timeline is nearing its end, though, with Redick adding that in return is sooner than later and could be on this road trip. Now, I want to just go to the part where they talked about, here we go. Yes, the part where they spoke about the update. Yes. It says, until Austin Reaves returns, JJ Redick has no intentions of tinkering with the starters. According to him, the Lakers will continue to go with their current group, James, Doncic, DeAndre, Marcus, and Jake LaRavia. It's the most used lineup of the team this year and has gone 6-5 in their games. According to Redick, Reaves could be back as soon as the Lakers match up against the Cleveland Cavaliers on the 28th of January. What are my thoughts about this? Here's my immediate reaction. I think the Lakers are going to get worse defensively with Reaves. I really do, because they weren't good defensively before. Now you add a guy that's not really good, and it's important to state, of the three players, Reaves, Luka, LeBron, he's the best defender. He has the highest rating, believe it or not. It's Reaves, Luka, and LeBron. You can go look it up in terms of their defensive rating. I expect them to be worse. And I expect what I expect to happen is that we're going to now go back to that old conversation of is Austin Reaves going to go off the bench? We're going to go right back to where we were when he left. But what we do know is that the record with the Lakers, they're 6-6 over their last 12. They're 6-6 over their last 12 without Reaves. All right? 6-6. Go look at the record the Lakers had prior to LeBron's return to start the season. The numbers are there. Now, if the Lakers were serious about solving problems, this is what the Lakers will do. But I know they will not do it because they're not serious. What the Lakers should have done is this. They should have put LeBron on the bench. Why would you put LeBron on the bench? The first reason is he's 41 years old. And no other team in the NBA is dumb enough to play a 41-year-old in their starting lineup. But the Lakers are doing it, right? You put him on the bench. You reduce his minutes about 17 to 18 minutes a night or 19 minutes a night. Then when he comes into the game, he's fresher. Number one. Number two, the less time he's on the floor, he's not hurting your team defensively. Then you get back the other guy, Reaves, in the starting lineup, and then you tinker with your lineup with Marcus Smart. Then you stagger maybe minutes between what's his name, Vanderbilt or whomever else, or Rui Hachimura, depending on who's playing well, depending on the opponent. You do that, go back to that original lineup and see how things work. If you want LeBron in the end of the game to end the games, fine. But to go back to the formula we already saw, expecting a different result. The reason I think it doesn't work for Reaves is because all that's going to happen is they're going to make him a scapegoat. And the whole conversation of, oh, should we trade him? Should he be traded? Is going to come right back. Now, the Lakers have made it clear that they're not trading Austin Reaves. They already rejected, I believe, 15 offers for him, and they're only looking for megastars to trade Reaves. And if they're not looking to give that up, Reaves is going to be there for the foreseeable future. This is my take on it. I don't see this team getting better. I think Reaves' numbers are probably going to get worse, but we have to wait and see. I could be wrong. Let me say this from the beginning. We're going to be doing 2 reaction videos. This is the first. This is one was going to be on Dreamers Pro. My real reaction to this topic is going to be on my politics channel. Here's what I think. We're going to have that. Charles Tabansi, here's what I think. We're going to pin that in the comment section. If you guys want to go watch my unadulterated reaction to this story, watch it there. I don't have the energy for people crying in the comments today, but we'll talk about it here. So let's get into today's topic. As you guys know, there was another shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota by another ICE agent. I'm sure, or rather I want to assume that a good amount of you have seen the video now from multiple angles. And I'm also sure that many of you have come to your own conclusions, right, about the video. But there's a lot of political unrest right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And yesterday, I actually got the news that athletes, NBA players, and others are beginning to weigh in on this matter. I want to quickly read from an article from The Guardian. It says, Alex Preddy was murdered. NBA's Halliburton amongst sports stars to condemn Minnesota killing. It says a number of prominent U.S. stars have condemned the killing of registered nurse Alex Preddy by federal agents in Minneapolis on Saturday. Preddy is the second person shot and killed by the federal agents in Minneapolis in less than 3 weeks as protests over Donald Trump's immigration crackdown sweep through the city. I want to go a little bit further. It says to Tyree Halliburton's comments that Alex Preddy was murdered, the Indiana Pacers guard said. There were strong reactions from the WNBA. Two-time WNBA MVP Breanna Stewart held a sign reading, "Abolish ICE." It then also went on. It says Stewart explained on her decision to hold up the sign, "We're so fueled by hate right now instead of love, so I wanted to have a simple message of abolish ICE, which means having police policies to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence." She wasn't the only one. NFL stars also reacted to the shooting. Former Steelers safety Ryan Clark, who won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now a broadcaster, paid tribute on Preddy to X. Preddy on X. He said, "Rest in peace. Rest easy, Alex Preddy. Bro was a hero. Prayers to his family and loved ones. Senseless death." Again, Clark wrote. and some other people weighed in on the matter. Now, how did Chris Broussard and Pablo Torre enter the fray? So I was going through the internet today and I came across an article from Awful Announcing with the following headline stating, Pablo Torre calls out Chris Broussard's insane analysis of Minneapolis shooting. I said, okay, let's get into it. Another fatal shooting by federal agents in Minneapolis has dominated the headlines over the past 24 hours. And as with any political flashpoint, some sports media figures are deciding to weigh in. On Sunday, FS1's host Chris Broussard took to social media to share his thoughts on the incident, drawing immediate criticism from Meadowlark's media Pablo Torre. So let's read what Chris Broussard said. He said, if you can't clearly and boldly state the craziness of Democrats being unable to define what a woman is and saying men can get pregnant, and the madness of Republicans defending the murder of Alex Preddy, then you're following a political party. Ideology, and not the Lord Jesus Christ. It then continues on. Torre did not take well to what he sees as an obviously insane equivalence drawn by Broussard between Democrats' stance on gender and how Republicans are defending the actions of federal agents in both Saturday's shooting and the fatal shooting of Renee Good just weeks earlier. Now let's read what Pablo said here in response. This equivalency is absolutely insane, but there is a thorough line here, which is that this administration and its array of compliant media companies really want you to think that the marginalized people they're actively victimizing are somehow the real bullies. It's bat bleep. What are my thoughts about this? As I told you, if you want to hear my unadulterated feelings about this, make sure you go watch the video on my politics channel. Here's what I think is growing really fast, almost at 10,000 subs. Super, super fast. So appreciate the support from you guys. If you want to hear that, go watch it over there. I'll just give you guys my thoughts here on this because I don't have time for the emotions in the comment section. Look, the country is more polarized than ever, right? It's more polarized than ever. If you listen to Chris Broussard's statement, he seemed like a centrist. I would say somebody that's in the middle, not really. He's looking to offend everyone and he's looking to offend everyone and no one at the same time. Because you call out the Democrat. Now, how the Democrats ended up in terms of, gender and all of this stuff, how he ended up injecting that into this conversation, given what's happening now, I don't see how there's a correlation. And then, of course, he addressed the Republicans directly and then pointed to Jesus Christ. That's the position that Chris decided to take on this matter, man. I can't explain it. I mean, that's his own position. In terms of what Pablo said, you could clearly see that Pablo and even some of the athletes that spoke on the issue have a clear position on this issue. And my take is this. In this day and age, playing both sides doesn't work. Just go look at Stephen A. Smith and look how he's doing with his political career, number one. Number two, whatever side you decide to take, you need to have strong views. People don't want to hear this lukewarm, shucks. People don't want to hear it anymore. Right? They don't want to hear it anymore. People have strong views. People either really love what's going on, and there are a lot of people that really, really, really love what's going on, and this is what I voted for, and blah, 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 blah. And then you have others that are just absolutely horrified by what's going on, right? But the point is, people feel how they feel about the issue. So to have someone kind of, dancing in the middle of it all is something that really turns people off. Because if a Republican reads that, it's like, so what side are you on here, right? If a Democrat reads that, they're like, what are you doing here, right? And I think that's what Chris did. He tried to point out, there's Christ here, you're not really following Jesus Christ. Newsflash to Chris, not everybody in the United States follows Jesus Christ, number one. Number two, a lot of the people that say they follow Jesus Christ don't. And I'm a Christian, right? I'm just being honest with you. Now, I really, really, really want to go off on this subject, but I'm going to refrain from doing it because what I've noticed is that whenever we broach political issues, yes, people get upset and whatever, but people get way too emotional about it. And I realize that I have more leeway and freedom to say what I really, really think on these issues on my other channel. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to reserve my real comments for that show where I can really, really go off. Marco told me, he said, look, man, just give the news on this one. You know what I mean? You don't have to get too much into what you think about it. Just give the news. This is the update here.